and just been really focused on when we, Coach Moore first met with the team as we were getting ready for this game. The biggest focus was just getting better at the fundamentals of football. So we've really kind of like been in the weeds focusing on that. But yeah, like getting ready for a specific defense, getting ready with a specific set of, skill players, and offensive linemen, all that kind of stuff definitely dictates and determines kind of who you are and what you do. But Michigan's offense is Michigan's offense.
Chip Lindsey's been around for a couple of weeks. What have your conversations been like with him?
He's awesome. He is a really, really good man. He's got great spirit about him. Very much like that servant leader, like you can feel, and I mean it's very much a compliment that he's been a high school coach and has, dealt with the youngest of young people for sure. And then when you talk nuts and bolts football, he's been great. As you guys get to know him, as Michigan's fan base and media get to know him, they're really going to like him. Really a good guy. He's been great, and he has been super helpful.
When some of your key guys opt out or not playing, does that complicate things from a game plan perspective?
I think it would complicate things if it happened in the moments leading up to the game. But we've had a pretty good sense and pretty good handle of who was going to be available for the game. So I don't know if complicates is the right word, but different than a normal game week. But fortunately, you've got time to get ready. And I've made this comment before. There's always this impression, right? Not just our program, but everywhere, that the guys that play in games are like the only ones that practice or train. We've got a very healthy program and good depth, and we feel good about where we're at.
Who are some players who might be due for a bigger role this month who've kind of seized that opportunity?
Yeah, I tell you what, the running back room has been fun to watch. Ben Hall, of course, has played for us. Jordan Marshall, Micah Kapana, Bryson Kuzdal, like those guys have all, like watching them grow and evolve has been really fun to watch. At tight end, seeing more and more and more of Hogan Hansen and Zach Marshall and Jalen Hoffman. We've played some games where those guys have played in, certainly. And then at receiver, Channing Goodwin and Stu have gotten better throughout this bowl prep. And the guys that have played a lot for us, we've got a lot of experience returning for this game at receiver, but they've honed their craft and have kind of upped their game too. And then the offensive line's doing good, so we feel good about it.
About receiver, we were talking to Davis Warren, and a couple weeks ago he had mentioned that Channing Goodwin's taken a big step forward. He asked him today about Goodwin as well as Stewart. How are some of those young guys doing at receiver?
They're doing good. Channing, from the day he's kind of gotten here, he very much fits the mold of like what success has looked like here. Serious about football, football smart, just has a really good energy about him, and that's just continued to take off. And like anything else, when there's pieces move around, you get more opportunities, more chances to be in there with the older veteran players that have played, or the ones, so to speak. And he's really taken off. And then Stu, I think this has been great for Stu. He has really grown and developed and kind of like re-locked in because it's hard when you're a young player that's kind of pulling double duty of maybe being on the scout team but still having to know our offense and so on and so forth. So this has been healthy for Stu to kind of hit the reset button in terms of the execution of the bones of the offense, and then he's just playing faster. He's doing everything faster, and the less you think, the better you play. So both Stu and Channing have excelled in that respect.
You gonna get Orgy involved in the game?
Alex is he's here, he's practicing, he's available for sure. So we'll kind of progress and do whatever we need to do to win the game.
I spoke to Marlon last week.
Yeah.
He said he's ready for the next step, the next bigger role next year.
Sure.
How is he ready?
So Mara actually played the most snaps of anybody in the tight end room this past season, and I love that he said that, and I saw that, and I'm glad that he's echoing that and he's living that and breathing it. Mar got so much accomplished this season because it was really the first time he'd ever played, and he was on the field in critical moments. Like I said, he played the most snaps in the room, and the biggest maturation for Marlon will be it's for any player that plays for the first time. Once you do something really good, that becomes your new standard. So constantly chasing that and limiting the bad plays, and the less bad plays you have, or negative plays I should say, the more exceptional ones we need to see. But yeah, Mar had a good season and is committed to getting better.
Got time for probably a couple more before they
Thinking
start
back on
the
that
practice.
question, and plans for Jaden Davis.
Like same thing I would say about Alex and all the quarterbacks. They're here practicing really good, doing a good job. Josh Sinagoga is doing a good job being involved with their development. Jaden's another guy that I'd be remiss not to mention the leaps and bounds he's taken over the last 2 weeks or so. He's doing really well.
How do you think, how's he handled? I mean, there's a lot of talent coming in the room, right?
Sure.
He was last year, he was seen as the guy, or
Yeah.
the future guy. I guess, how's he handling
We
all
made
that?
this observation about Jaden during pregame against Ohio State. He just, if you had to pick an intangible skill about JD2, it would be like he's kind of has that like unflappable, like just kind of not fazed by much. You wouldn't guess that there's been any kind of like change in that respect. He's been great. Like the emotions of the game and like the vibe of playing the position, like whatever it is, Jaden's got it.
And kind of going off of that, speaking of people coming into the room, competition entering, how has Davis sort of handled this time? And Underwood comes in, all these people come in.
Same way. Dave is like laser focused, as is Alex, as is JD2, on doing whatever they need to do to kind of get ready for the game and win the game. They've been great.
You guys have picked up a number of transfer portal commits over the last couple of weeks. Do you expect to still be aggressive in the portal?
That would be a question probably better for somebody above my pay grade. Like that's the new normal in college football, though. It's a great question. It's a great question. Like the recruiting calendar and timeline and like what's relevant in recruiting in our sport. I mean, it seems like it's changing every cycle in terms of like the when, the how, the why, the what. But yeah, I think that's something across every program in the country that like the normal is going to be pretty active in the portal and finding the right fit and guys that you really believe kind of like fit what you're looking for, both on the field, off the field. Yeah, I think that's the future of our sport. Whereas the now, probably a better way to put it.
You've had about a week and a half or so to evaluate not only the early enrollees, but Bryce Underwood. What have you seen from him?
The biggest thing I would say about him is great spirit, great energy, committed to learning what we've got going on. He's doing really good. He's great. He great personality. He's funny. I watch him. Depending on the schedule, he walks by my office in the mornings. One of the first guys in the building, so he's been awesome.
Davis had said that he's not necessarily surprised, but he's come in with the typical kind of Michigan work ethic. Is that kind of surprising to you for the number one guy in the country?
No, because what I've been exposed to at the University of Michigan, that's how pretty much every guy has entered our program, and he's a great fit, and he's been great. You would kind of like, I think I saw Dave say it, like you would never know it. He fits in with all of our other mid-years in the best way possible, and I mean that as a big-time compliment. He's been awesome.
Steve, all right, I got to get last question
when
here.
Kirk was here, how involved were you with play calling?
I think getting ready for any game, there's a collaborative effort. Like I think sometimes when you think like in any organization, in any sport, offense, defense, special teams, of course there's somebody that all funnels through, but I echoed this before. We always had a very team-oriented mindset that it's never one person's success, one person's failure. So we were all involved in the planning of the game and the thought process, but to put a finite answer on that from like snap to snap or game to game, Coach Campbell was our play caller for sure, but he had input from us and we were collaborative without a doubt.
Thank you.
Thanks guys, appreciate you.